Hi, I'm Daniel. I'm an exercise enthusiast, and for the purpose of this video, I think the title speaks for itself. I know many people in the HIIT community don't have a favorable view of the future of exercise. I do. I have a really favorable view of it. The future of fitness, I have no clue. I don't care. Exercise as we know it is going to change. It will take a little while, but it's going to change. It will not the change will be good, and I think most of the people will approve it. Anyway, I'm going to talk about this as though we're going backwards from the future. I'm going to talk about this as though I'm telling the history of what happened. Let's start with a little bit of history before now. In the late 1800s, Gustav Zander started moving exercise in a more technical, actually didn't start. He kind of actually started. There may have been other people long before that, but he was the first one we know of. Moved exercise in a little bit of a technical direction. A lot of his things were not completely exercise, but they were slightly in the right direction. Jack LaLanne and others and bodybuilders kind of moved a little bit more towards the function of the muscle. They at least kind of went with a shape and leaned a little bit more in that direction. Arthur Jones went directly with function of the muscle, not just leaning. Kind of hope it rains again. The other people, I forgot his name, the David Help engineer, leaned quite a bit in the technical direction, quite a bit. And Ken Hutchins kind of pushed the pole much more towards the technical direction of exercise. All right, here we go. In 2000, at the end of 2024, a group of exercise enthusiasts, similar to myself, and engineers who knew about exercise got together and created a free course on exercise machine design principles, exercise machine apparatus device principles that are necessary for these designs to be safe, productive, efficient, effective, and hopefully even save resources. Some of this requirements and these will be done in a video series, a course that will be freely available, or that were freely available. Um, yeah, let's go with were. And a technical manual is designed, freely downloadable, that can be used as a guideline for following these principles. Also, while this is being created, while this technical manual is being created, another team creates an organization similar to open source hardware consortiums. There is a open source hardware consortium. There's open source hardware design. There's been many different versions. I'm not sure which way this will go. But an open source exercise device design or open source exercise machine design organization is created that is designed for people to upload designs to be approved, and that the organization officials can approve and submit based upon the technical requirements that the engineers and exercise enthusiasts created. Some of these principles are already available on Drew's site. I'm not trying to promote his site, I'm trying to promote the principles. Okay, this course and this organization are dedicated to moving exercise forward. Anyone and any company can download these plans, these designs, and make them. Cybex, Nautilus, Imagine Strength, Hammer, anyone. The next part, the designs any design can be submitted, but to be put forth as presented, they have to be approved by the board. In 2025, the courses and manuals are offered to 3 colleges of engineering. It's consideration for possible projects for their senior student design projects. In all engineering schools, a senior design project is made. Sometimes they're done in teams, sometimes they're done in individuals, most of the time in teams, I think. After this is created, 3 colleges commit to following this program, these ideas, and creating exercise machines, exercise devices or apparatus based upon these design principles. All 3 teams begin a competition with each other. These competitions and the design, the fabrication, every part of it is 24/7 feet. Wherever their lab, their workspace, their design stuff, and all the interviews with technicians or engineers, everything broadcast, so people can watch the design process happen, and people can even have some input. The competition becomes very popular among engineering schools. Engineering schools start taking notice of this and are kind of excited by it. And some people even start exercising. Engineers, that would be a very good thing. With more popularity, before the next year starts, 20 more universities commit to this competition. In 2026, the student design teams have almost completed their first design, or either have completed their first design principles in January, February. Not principles, they're designs. And they're now starting the fabricating and prototyping phase. They do that now. They don't just design things, they make and fabricate them. The prototypes are tweaked and tested with the help of the open source exercise device board. Shortly before the senior, at each university, the senior did do this. Stop. Pause the video after I tell you what to do. Go do a search for senior engineering senior design project, and just look at the different. Go to MIT, Georgia Tech, University of Central Florida, Carnegie Mellon, Cal Poly Tech. Look at some of the things these senior engineering design projects make, and some of the things they lead to. I think you'll be a little more than impressed. I think most people don't know about this. Anyway, the first 3 designs for the open source exercise machine design consortium, whatever it is, are evaluated and submitted and ready for download. One of the teams wins best design, of course, with something innovative. Don't know what, but it will be something innovative. In the summer of 26, the engineers get their design thing at their school with their professors. That's separate, how they work with them. Each engineer college and each engineering school has their own system and processes, and some of them use different ones, so that would not be part of our thing, just the beginning and end result. In the summer of 26, 50 more schools join on to the competition, and In the fall semester, more engineers and more exercise enthusiasts join the open source exercise consortium, machine design consortium, and start really thinking much more forward. Imagine Strength, MedX, Hammer Strength, Life Fitness, or whatever Cybex is now. Many machine companies, because it got so popular, make their version of the first three designs that were submitted, and some fitness centers started using them. In 2027, one team working on a open source exercise device design for deep space travel to Mars is noticed very closely and being monitored very closely by NASA, SpaceX, and other spacefaring agencies. And that's one of the challenges. We need to get to Mars. It doesn't, getting to Mars is not the point. We need to become an interplanetary society, an interplanetary species. To do that, whether or not you like that or care about that, it's going to happen. To do that, we need to be able to get to Mars without atrophying so bad and having such bad bone loss that we can't do anything when we get there. So some form of stimulation needs to happen, and this design team and our organization, this organization, really works intensely on this. And NASA and the engineering communities around the world take notice. A team of industrial engineers and experienced dynamic and static exercise instructors work together to create a course, a year-long course for exercises, what are these things called? Extra classes you take for engineering. Exercise instruction becomes a course in industrial engineering because it's going to be having to work with NASA. NASA is not going to just work with people who don't do certain things. You have to be right there with it. At the end of that year, 80 new designs are submitted and approved by the open source exercise machine design organization. 80. I don't know what kind. I'm not going to tell you. We don't even know. We can have some ideas, but you have 80 to choose from. It doesn't really matter anymore. And they're really, really well-designed equipment. Many companies, because of the excitement created online from the competition, from the work with NASA, from the work with engineering, many fitness centers around the world start putting this equipment into gyms, into fitness centers. And some even gets into homes. You'll be walking along walking path, and there will be a series of static exercise instead of wiggly things that they have sometimes in the parks or the park gyms. Small static exercise stations for everyone. Things like that start appearing around. The next year, 300 new schools around the world join in. And after that, the combination of industrial engineering working with exercise instruction and exercise science kind of start working together, and eventually exercise, or what's out there now as exercise science, splits off and becomes human performance science. And exercise engineering, the academic discipline, the interdisciplinary academic discipline, I forget how to say that, of exercise engineering is created, mostly at the behest of the spacefaring agencies. So once this happens, this is when exercise really takes off. So I'm going to ask a question, and I hope most people can understand the question. As far as exercise goes, do you trust it in the hands of fitness or engineering? Just asking. Thanks. I do not think that's going to end.